Good morning, everyone. I have my dog with me today. This is Rosco. Rosco has a vet appointment here in my office at 12, so he had to come to work with me. Can you hear me? Yeah. Say hi, Rosco. Say hi. Oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Hi, Michael. How are you? Say hi to everybody. Rosco could still be eating if I'd let him. Let go. Say hi. Say hi. Oh. He's already had 2 meals today and he wants more. He wants hello, say hi. Oh, no. Okay. He's very camera shy, shockingly. Aren't you? He is precious. But, he's still a dog. He's who has his own way. He's very, let's say, bullish. He wants what he wants when he wants it. And he's not really used to being in the office with me. So we'll see how it goes. How long I can be on. Because all he does is look for food. I don't. All he does. We'll see. I love your dog. Oh, I'm sorry, Lorraine. I apologize for that. Roscoe's only, well, how old is he? Like 2 and 4 months. So he's pretty spoiled being at home with my husband all day. Your dog Dasher is eating breakfast. So I didn't know what to talk about today because here's the choices and they're not good. I thought I'd talk about what these people, the Richard Allen fan club, think that their appellate issues are. I mean, they spent how many days in trial? Weeks. Every day but Sunday. And a couple dozen witnesses. They're still hanging on this Odinism thing. So if you don't know, I'm Patty Wilson, and this is Patty's Playhouse. And people asked me to come on in the morning, and I was trying to think of a name. Like Patty's Playhouse, like a breakfast buffet. Because you never know what you're going to get. Because I don't control the trials. So I was thinking that was a cute name. To go along with Patty Cakes and Patty Melts. It's such a... It sounds so sarcastic, but you're right. Well, I just think it's the time of year. Around Thanksgiving and Christmas. They're just not going to put up a lot of trials. Hey, Murder, how are you? Hey, Gretchen. I had fun last night on Roberta Glass's channel. That was fun. Because she was throwing out the hearing for not Sarah, might as well have been, Karen Reed. And the infotainment aspect of her Lexus that's about to get analyzed. And I thought that was funny. I just think it's funny just calling it out loud, your infotainment. Like I have a Ram truck and my infotainment is about 24 inches long and everything I do during the day goes through that system. If I'm in that truck, the number of calls I make, how long the calls are, I mean, everything you do is in that truck. And I hadn't really thought about it until this hearing. And I was like, it knows if I back up. It knows if I don't back up. It knows everything. And then my husband uses OnStar. So that's even worse. So everything he does, parks, where he parks, how long he parks, is in that vehicle. And I thought, oh my God. I'm glad I have my Vera. My Vera is a 1993. Well, I did put Bluetooth in it, so it's not much better. That Land Cruiser is as basic as you can get. Not at the time. I mean, at the time it was nice. But I put a Bluetooth radio system. I might have to disconnect and just ride around town, not paying attention to anything. You ready for coffee? Oh, bless your heart. Oh, so I was thinking of Roberta Glass this morning because I have my emotional sport Diet Coke. And then thank you to Lisa and her percolator. I have my emotional sport coffee that tastes as close to my mom's as I could get. My husband's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm making my coffee." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "How old?" I said, "I don't know how old it is. I don't care how old it is. Probably the older, the better." And it makes boiling hot coffee, like boiling hot. And then you let it sit for a while. So it percolated, and then I let it sit for like another 20 minutes because it was so hot you couldn't drink it anyway. And so it all kind of ruminates. And then I put my milk and raw sugar in it, and it's delicious. It is as close to my mom's as I could possibly get in 2024. It's absolutely amazing. It's coffee. It's so good. Get a percolator. I mean, they're not expensive. And I never really liked drip coffee because I don't know, it just feels like it washes the coffee. And Keurig's the same way. It just rinses over the coffee instead of like making the coffee. I have an espresso with those wide espresso pods, which I just got. And that's better because it spins it. So that is definitely a more, I guess they say rich. It's a rich flavor. But this coffee is lush. Roscoe's just hanging out. He's being so quiet. It's like a toddler. Like, what is he doing? So you made a video ages ago about all the stuff cars know about us, why you shouldn't ever connect to a rental car, and how defense attorneys fight the extractions in court. Ooh, you should post that. Do you have a link for that? Guys, I think that's a fabulous discussion. You're enjoying your percolated coffee. Good for you, Claudia. It does make a difference. I mean, I thought it would when we started talking about it. Oh, God. So nice. You have your mom's old stovetop percolator, good to the last drop. I mean, I drank the whole pot. This is the rest of the pot. I don't know how many cups it is. It looks shorter than the ones you can buy now. It's so good. It is lush. So it's my emotional support coffee. But I was going over, the car. I mean, think about it. It knows if your doors are open. It knows everything. I don't know what year Lexus she had. I wonder what year it was. It was a Lexus 570. According to Reddit. Reddit's true about everything, isn't it? The automatic brake sensor is activated at 7 miles an hour. Well, the sensor wouldn't kick in. Someone's asking if the sensor, here's the question. My guess is, like with my RAM, I have a sensor on my RAM for braking. Like if I'm too close to a vehicle turning, it goes beep, 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 beep. But if you're going super fast, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't do much. Oh, so this is what it says. And it must be true because it's on Reddit, right? It says, which I wouldn't have thought about that PCS system does not activate when you're in reverse. So those Toyotas and those Lexus, their cameras are really small anyway. So that's why I don't have one anymore. I had an older Avalon, and then the window on the camera, the screen of my vehicle was like, it's as big as my hand. I was like, that's not going to work for me. So now my RAM is literally, it's 24 inches long. But that was interesting. If that doesn't work when you're in reverse, so it would know you were in reverse by the mere fact that it wouldn't come on. Damn. Good to know. If you have a Lexus 570. So her vehicle, I mean, her house is under contract. It is pending, which means that all the inspections are over with. They're just waiting on a closing. It went under contract 9/20. So for whatever reason, it's taking forever to actually close on the property, but it hasn't closed yet. So this says our SUV model is a standout choice for automotive enthusiasts, combining luxury with performance and reliability. The Karen, I think it's sarcasm. The Karen Reed lineup of Lexus. So what year would have hers been? An 18? Eight-cylinder. Those are bigger than I thought. That's a big engine. I thought they would be a 6. Five seats. 15 miles to the gallon. Those Toyotas do not get a lot of mileage. Neither does a Nissan. Forward collision warning, lane departure alert. Not if you're in reverse, apparently. Damn. I didn't know that. What did Murder say? What are you guys calling a percolator? Her car didn't have that auto brake, so it wasn't even that lush. You think it was a 2021? What are you guys calling a percolator? A coffee, like a coffee pot, like the old-fashioned coffee pot that you would plug in. You fill the coffee. Let me show you. You fill the coffee. This. Mine has the glass at the top. So think like this. You open this. There's a tin inside for the coffee grounds. This goes into the base of the percolator. This plugs in. This goes on top of the coffee grounds, and it percolates the water. It filters through these little slides. They're not really holes because they're covered. So this is in the bottom as well, so it just doesn't fall out. And then it percolates up through this. So it percolates up through the top. It inserts into this hole. It percolates up and it percolates the coffee grounds. So, and then the lid keeps the coffee grounds in, kinda. I mean, it really doesn't, but you have very few coffee grounds. So nice. So you could see the inside on this one. You could see the inside of the percolator tin, is what I'm calling it. You fill it, put the lid on it, and call it a day. Done. They say it's 7 to 10 minutes. It stops percolating once it's done. And it's nice. KR will be interesting. Very interesting. Because I love cars. So that's why I was curious. You think it was a 2021? It's still a V8. I'm surprised it's that heavy. That's a heavy vehicle. It was the Lexus version of a Land Cruiser, allowing Lexus rival plush SUVs like an Escalade, Navigator, or a QX80. It has no gas mileage. I have more gas mileage in my 1993 Land Cruiser because it's diesel. For maximum comfort, the LX comes standard with leather seating, 14 power. There's a luxury package. Doesn't look that comfortable. Please check out Matthew Rastelli. Oh, he's the idiot that looked up. Did he do it or did someone else do it? Oh, the wife accused of plotting her husband.
A woman is behind bars.
So stupid. It says it right there. Shockingly stupid. Good morning, Rosemary. Good morning, everybody. Didn't have that auto brake at any speed. It stays hot. I use a Yeti mug and it stays piping hot. Mine is. My Stanley is hot. It's Lori Vallow and Adelson combined. Lord have mercy. Coffee is your best friend in the mornings. You've had 2 sips so far. Had to feed 3 cats and Simba, your golden, and take them out. That is a busy day. I woke up at 6 o'clock. I don't even know what's going on with me. I did take half of that phentermine today and I feel okay. It took me 3 days to come off of the full one. So I took a half today and I feel fine. We'll see how I feel in a couple hours. If you put Lexus 570 into YouTube, it's all people replacing the infotainment system because it's absolute rubbish. Not even a touch screen. Yeah, I like having a touch screen. Perhaps her plumber hasn't showed up yet. I will cover Karen Reed. I mean, it's not going to make people happy. I mean, you can't. You can't. I was watching Gray Hughes last night, and he was talking about the free Richard Allen people and just how they will work to accommodate any story to say it's a corruption. Doesn't matter what it is, it's corruption. And it's not even worth arguing about. So I don't intend to argue with people if they disagree with me. You bless your heart for your opinion, and I hope you continue to educate yourself because I'm more of a black and white person. I look at the rule or the statute and I'm like, well, this is why it worked the way it did. And it all comes down to me, that one person on Twitter, if I could find it, saying her comment was, I'm assuming it's a her, has to be, judges have too much power. I'm like, well, if you think that's the way it is in the United States, go elsewhere and see how bad it is. You wouldn't even have any of this nonsense in another court in another country. You just wouldn't even have it. Check the UK. None of this would exist. You wouldn't have, it would be a lot more like Indiana. I mean, Canadian, I know we have Canadians in here. They're going to tell you straight up that none of their hearings are public. Everything is behind the walls of the court. You thought it was 2020? I haven't been carrying all of them. It really didn't really. I was like, she's guilty and this is nonsense. This trial shouldn't have taken 3 weeks in my head. And then people are like, you should listen more. You should watch more. You didn't see everything. And then I just go back to the car. I just go back to the vehicle. That's it. And the fact that his phone didn't go in the house. So someone mentioned on Twitter last night that it was either Twitter or in our own channel, was that the phone may have looked like it was going up steps because they could have been holding the phone and fighting at the same time, so that the phone was above your arm, like above your head. And I thought, well, I don't know how much that works, but I do know people in my last job at Keller Williams. So funny. The owner, her name's Rebecca, and she used to get on people for not walking their 20,000 steps a day, whatever it is. And they would literally be in their office. She bought them all Fitbits, and they would literally be in their office shaking their arm with their Fitbit to get it activated because they didn't have time to walk. They were working. And then she would check in every day to make sure they had enough steps in. It's like, good God. So they were literally like raising their arm and shaking this Fitbit all over the place. So that's what made me think of that when they said, well, maybe the phone over their head activated like it was up steps, or their watch or whatever was on, to make it look like he went in the house, that there were steps in the house. So I don't know. I'm certainly not going to please people, but I don't please people anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about numbers on my YouTube channel. I'd be more concerned if I cared about that. I'd be more concerned in my own mental health if I cared about those things, because consensus over truth is not something I'm working towards. I was watching, again, Twitter is just an amazing site. It's just, if you're not on it, I can't believe you wouldn't be, because it's absolutely amazing. But this NPR CEO was going off yesterday. She's a female, which is fantastic. I love it for her.
Disagreement, say politics.
I love it for her. I think that's amazing that she's a very young to me, younger than me. And this is what she says. It's concerning, but this is what the girl says.
But the hard things, the places where we are prone to disagreement, say politics and religion. Well, as it turns out, not only does Wikipedia's model work there, it actually works really well. Because in our normal lives, these contentious conversations tend to erupt over disagreement about what the truth actually is. But the people who write these articles, they're not focused on the truth. They're focused on something else, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years of working with these brilliant folks, I've come to believe that they are onto something, that perhaps for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth might not be the right place to start. In fact, our reverence for the truth might be a distraction that's getting in the way of finding common ground and getting things done. Now, that is not to say that the truth doesn't exist, nor is it to say that the truth isn't important. Clearly, the search for the truth has led us to do great things, to learn great things. But I think if I were to really ask you to think about this, one of the things that we could all acknowledge is that part of the reason we have such glorious chronicles to the human experience in all forms of culture is because we acknowledge there are many different truths. And so in the spirit of that, I'm certain that the truth exists for you and probably for the person sitting next to you. But this may not be the same truth. This is because the truth of the matter is very often, for many people, what happens when we merge facts about the world with our beliefs about the world. So we all have different truths. They're based on things like where we come from, how we were raised, and how other people perceive us.
She's completely discombobulating truth versus perspective. She doesn't care what the truth is, as long as the consensus says blankety blank blank. And to me, my own opinion, that is, it almost makes me want to cry, because That is the saddest thing I've ever heard. Where would Galileo be? Where would Elon Musk be? Look what he's done. He can park a rocket. I can't even park my truck the way he parks that rocket. He parks a rocket. And you can't park a rocket unless you follow scientific facts. The man parks a rocket. Now, granted, he had to blow up a lot of rockets to be able to park the rocket, but he parks a rocket. There's only so many facts. And if you take a Richard Allen, or you take a Karen Reed, or you take a Melody Ferris, or you take a Donna Adelson, or Charlie, or any other court trial we've ever watched, go back to the Menendez murders, there are only so many facts. Now, you can twist that upon your own perspective, like the hung jury on Catherine Magbanua that said, because I'm a pregnant woman, didn't matter what the facts were, because I'm a pregnant woman, I cannot send her to prison because she is a mom, and I can't imagine a mom doing that. That's fair, but it didn't change the fact. You have a good reason in your brain. Doesn't mean you followed the law because you didn't. Doesn't mean you followed the jury instructions because you didn't follow the jury instructions. But you couldn't get past your own hurdle. That's human nature, but it doesn't change the facts. And that is probably the one art. I mean, it has really bothered me since I watched it weeks ago. This was April 17th. She had her TED Talk, which I would have loved to have a TED Talk sometime. That would be amazing to be able to have that banner behind you. And now I'm like, that's not the best thing that would ever happen. That's not the best thing, because you're literally changing facts and the truth to accommodate your rosy outlook, or your, I just can't get over the hurdle that I'm putting a mom in prison. I just can't get over a hurdle that he's 5'4". I can't get over the hurdle that one person thought he had poofy hair. Meanwhile, it's a cold, windy day. I just can't get over the hurdle that he was in confinement in a maximum security prison. But have you seen the inside of the prison? Can you conflate that he had access to a therapist each and every day, and that he really wasn't alone? Can you continue to believe that it was a Alcatraz situation in the prison that he was in, or that he was in a maximum security prison for his own protection, because he would have been anally mutilated 100%? He will always be in confinement. They will never be able to place him where he is not in confinement. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. He will always be in a high max prison, because the state's job to keep the punishment intact is to keep him alive. That's the state's job. And freedom of movement will not keep him alive. And he knows it, because you can see the look on his face. So the facts are detailed by what evidence in whatever trial. But if you're going to be like Catherine Magbanua's juror and say, I just can't do it, be honest about it. If you can't do Karen Reed because she has long hair, which is all I hear about, she has beautiful hair. I don't even think she has beautiful hair. Or that she's just too pretty to put in prison. Remember, there was that teacher that molested a student, and she literally, her defense was, I'm too pretty to go to prison. And she got off with a shake of the hand. That didn't change the fact that she molested someone. It's just, you can't, like, in your own brain in 2024, get past that and say, man, she molested someone's kid. Doesn't matter how cute she is. She had no right to touch him. But people can't see past it. It's getting better, because more and more teachers are being arrested for the same. But her defense was, I'm too pretty. and they let it in. So crazy. I mean, it's almost as if unless you see it like a Sarah Boone crime, it couldn't possibly have happened that way because you have a moral compass and you would never do such a thing. Or you would have stopped and said, "Oh my God, I hit him. What can I do?" Instead of calling your daddy and spending millions of dollars to try to get out of it. And now they're going to pull the other two boards off your car that they missed because they didn't know that. And it was missed by the defense and they didn't turn over everything to you. So now every second of that vehicle is going to be played in court and you better take a plea. And there won't be any FKR. Oh, it's corrupt. The guy's corrupt. The state's corrupt. The federal prosecutor's corrupt. Everything's corrupt. The justices were corrupt. Everything is corrupt because you have a moral compass that you would have stopped your vehicle and gone out and checked the guy and not let him freeze to death. So I'm not going to please people, I'm sure, but at least I won't feel like I do when I listen to that video. It literally makes me want to break down because what are our kids being taught? That it's consensus over truth. That is so scary to me. It's so scary. I can't even speak. I cannot even speak. She says that with a serious face. Truth gets in the way of working things out, so we should disregard it because it's consensus over truth. And it makes me sick. The Maestro says, when Patty streamed the KR hearing, there was a few regulars here who were reacting badly. I mean, they were polite. They thought I was angry. Of course, I'm not angry. It's your opinion. I just don't understand it. Like, if I could sit with you and ask you questions, and I would love to interview. I think Roberta tried the other day and couldn't get anyone to come on. That was truly one side, the opposing side. I would love that because maybe it is your family of origin, like the NPR chick's saying. Maybe it is the family of origin and your perspective. And, it's going to be different if you grew up in Canada or you grew up in the UK or you grew up but then our court system is different. How it plays out is different. Bail is different. Would she get bail? Wouldn't she get bail? Look at Melanie Ferris. State to state is different. Indiana laws are very different than Georgia or Florida laws. And I think that all needs to be taken into effect and said, yes, the judge may have new power, but you need to go to the legislature and have that change. You don't get to do that midway through the court. You just don't get to do it. I mean, the game is set. And 12 jurors unanimously picked from Fort Wayne. They're strangers. They're not even from Delphi. Strangers. Apparently, they wanted to listen to the audio. Someone wrote in some blog that one of the questions the juror asked when they were deliberating is they wanted to listen again to his voice saying, "Girls, down the hill." And maybe that's all they needed. But those are the 12 jurors that get to decide all of this, like, hoo-ha, man, rage at your neighbor because 12 jurors are deciding something and you're not, or you don't get to pick the judge because social media says this judge is corrupt. I mean, it's every trial we watch. There is someone saying the judge is corrupt. David Cannon in Melody Ferris' trial, he's corrupt. He's not showing up on time. He's corrupt. I'm like, you just can't say that. And at some point, someone is going to sue. Like it's occurring now with the YouTubers. They're suing. Did you guys see Madeline Soto's mom got immunity? everything cannot be corrupt to create a situation where she is innocent. If that is your only defense, is the world is corrupt and the town and the county and the state are framing this girl. I mean, she's a young woman who is relatively intelligent, smarter than me, has a PhD in finance. I don't. So I do kudos and respect for that. But if that is your argument, that the world is corrupt, the police department, the Supreme Court justices, prosecution, everyone is corrupt. It's not even an argument anymore. It's a defiant stance. So, I mean, I'm happy to air whatever hearing anyone wants to see and then give my opinion on it because that's the way it works, which kind of I find comical. But I mean, like, it's just not gonna. And especially if, like, I think Roberta Glass is a lot more fair of a person than I am. Rosco, you want to come here? And she's a lot more fair of a person. I may have to pick him out. She's a lot more fair of a person. And she can't get the opposing side to come on with her. I don't know what to say. Can I find out if Melody's children get Gary's insurance and other money? They will. It'll be probated and it will come to them. I'm going to take him out. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Right. Right. This is Man, it's almost like winter out there today. It's super windy. Melissa Murder says, can't speak for the majority, but I think most here are following the evidence from a trial, not the evidence put out by Aiden. I don't even know who this Aiden is. I can't respect anyone named Turtle Boy. I'm sorry. I just cannot. You know what I mean? It's just not happening. I just can't. If you're going to call yourself Turtle Boy and get yourself arrested for harassment, I can't really respect you. I just not. I feel a lot of criminals feel a sense of self-entitled that can't be guilty of anything because their version of the truth is always right. Patty, you need that painting, the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I have to hang it up. Scott got it for me. He went to this Atlanta market. Let me get this dog some more water. I'll be right back. He goes to the Atlanta market, where I guess it's I don't know where it is in Atlanta, but you can go buy furniture and it's displays and that designer stuff. So he always buys artwork. And this says, let's see, blah behind it. He bought another one that said drama. And I was like, I want the blah. It's so cute. So did anyone know with Richard Allen, which I didn't know until last night on Gray Hughes, was that the day that his daughter testified was the only day that Kathy Allen missed? And Gray Hughes thinks there's some sort of like broken relationship there. Do you want to come up here? No? Okay. He thinks there's some sort of broken relationship there because she didn't show up that day. And she was only asked, like, the daughter was only asked, this may not work. They only asked 3 questions, and then that was it. Come here. Oh, you want some more? Come here. Please. He wants treats. It's my whole life. Come on. He just wants to eat all the time. It's incredible. It's what he wants to do. Your brother went to the Atlanta market. Yeah, he did get some beautiful artwork. I was like, I kind of think I need something bigger, but once I hang it, I guess it'll be fun. Can a mod or Patty post the link to join again? I think I fixed my Apple ID. Yes. Hold on, let me get it. I think here you go. Here's the link to join again. Thank you for bringing that up. Is anyone watching the Chloe Driver trial still gagging over the urine therapy? I don't know how many people do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many people actually do that urine therapy? I wasn't going to watch it just because it's a baby. No, it's just so hard. It's just such a hard thing. Sometimes prosecutors have to make a deal with despicable people to get the devil. And I think she should have tried to plead out right away and maybe go for a lesser charge, but she didn't. And I mean, Karen Reed, you need that painting for your office. I don't know who makes it. Yeah, I have Rosco with me, murder. The vet's coming today at, I think, 12. And he's still a baby. He's still a baby to me. Yeah, they gave her immunity. Couldn't believe it. You want to see him? Come here. Come here. This is Rosco. He needs a bath. He'll get a bath. He'll get a bath tonight after the vet. So he can relax after his shots. He gets his shots today. No, I'm not kidding. Let me find it. I mean, it's derivative immunity. So it's the same type of immunity Wendy would get. It's the same type that Wendy Adelson has. So it says the man accused of molesting and killing Madeline Soto shortly after her 13th birthday will go to trial next fall, 2025. Stephen Stearns, the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, She faces charges. Jennifer Soto faced charges of first-degree murder and 60 other offenses, but then it says ads. It says that they have no intention says sources told Channel 9 Shannon Butler that Jennifer Soto had done nothing criminal so far, so she will not face charges. She will be given derivative immunity, just like Wendy, to testify. But that's how they're going to get her to testify. Derivative immunity. It's a mess. Can you imagine? Playhouse. It really is. It really is. Although I'd have to pull it up off my phone. Bling is the New Black, who's probably trying to still heal from her shoulder surgery, sent me a clip of Ruth Markel saying that Dan Rashbaum should be investigated with the bar and that should be handled accordingly. So that was nice of Bling to send me that, because the rumor was, not so much a rumor, that that person, KCL, sent a text to True Lifestyles saying that I wasn't to go to an event because Ms. Markel was upset with me for filing a bar complaint against Dan Rashbaum. And at the time, I was so taken aback, but I said to True Lifestyles, her name's Susan, that it was probably one of the sickest, twisted things I'd ever heard. But apparently wasn't true. So whoever said it, KCL, didn't think that I would blast it. Again, consensus over truth. Just because she feels that way doesn't mean it was true. Hey, Chris, how are you? You're at work watching Thrilled. This is happening now. Made my day starting at the beginning. We're really not talking about anything. People said, do Seinfeld, talk about nothing. So here we are. That poor child had no one in her corner. No, I know. Oh, I didn't even let my kids spend the night someplace. I was that kind of mom. Rashbaum should be a used car salesperson. It'll be interesting to see what they say. You know, the bar, they'll take their dear time. But after seeing Jackie Fulford involuntarily removed from the bench to then go on and be the co-counsel under Donna Adelson, I really don't have a lot of faith. Sorry, I don't. I don't have a lot of faith in the bar because they're going to protect their own. And it gags me. It does. I mean, I think everyone should, like, you should lose your license and you should lose your license. All I can say is if it were a nurse, you know, and a nurse had violated that kind of thing, they'd be gone. I mean, but because it's an attorney, it doesn't happen that way. It just drives me crazy. They do protect their own. I'm checking that docket on the Adelson to see if anything. No, the last order was 1025, saying that Zellman and Fulford must perform a comprehensive conflict of interest check as it pertains to prior representation of co-conspirators, co-defendants, or witnesses. But it doesn't say the victim. So that should be interesting, because apparently Jackie Fulford, also a funeral director, you can't make some shit up. You just can't. That she was the probate judge under Dan Markel, but he doesn't state in that order the victim. So we'll see. I can't even with that. See, I would just go up and smack her right in the face. That's why you need to keep these people protected, because a mom like me would have no problem just going up and squaring her in the jaw. You really wouldn't. It's so funny. She's just a really bad mother. That is her only child, right? Madeline was her only. Yeah, justice for Ellen Greenberg. That's another one. There is corruption there. It has to be. It has to be friends in high places. There's no way that girl suicided herself with a knife and stabbed herself that many times. It's just physically no way. But that's not it. Can you pet the dog? Yes, you can. Murder. Right? Roscoe's pretty good as long as you're holding him. It's the way it is. Yeah, it's derivative immunity. So, like with Wendy Adelson, when you testify, same with the YSL trial, same with Richard Allen's, same with Melody's. When you testify, as long as you're telling the truth, they cannot use your words against you. And it's called derivative or use immunity. Y'all, it said the young thug prosecutors are so bad it's hard to watch like we do other trials. It's so tedious. I mean, and comical. Oh, there's Bling. How are you? Hey, me entrance. Yes, it's Rosco. He is cute. He's adorable, but you must I mean, this is what happens when you get a lap dog. They want to be on your lap, right? He just loves sitting just like this. How old is Rosco? He was 2 in July 10th. So August, September, October, 27 months, November, 28 months, right? So I was right the first time, 2 years and 4 months, right? He is precious. Yes, Tom Waits how he stopped smoking. Jokingly, he said, I drink my own urine. It's good with a little ice and a twist. God. It is. Don't you remember that Friends episode, Tater? There was a Friends episode where Monica got bit by a jellyfish and then Chandler pissed on her leg. I think it was Chandler. He showed his jar of urine and how it processes. So that's what is it? Not the Dalai Lama. Who was the other one? The Indian. He drank his own urine to purify himself. Check up the update on the Falls City murders. Unbelievable. Defense attorneys violated judge orders. Is that on YouTube? I remember Falls City beer. That's what I think of when I hear that. Did anybody drink Falls City beer a long time ago? Oh. How did the defense attorneys violate the judge's order? It does say that they are allowed to go into the crime scene.
One week ago, police made a gruesome discovery inside this lakeside Falls City. One week ago, police made a gruesome discovery inside this lakeside Falls City home. 5 members of the same family, including 2 parents, Sarah and Mark Humiston, and 3 children, age 7, 9, and 13, were found shot to death. The alleged shooter, who the court has asked us not to name, called 911 himself, telling police it was his younger brother who shot the family and then killed himself. Investigators say that story didn't add up, and arrested the 15-year-old boy. His story in part contradicted by his 11-year-old sister, who was shot but survived. Washington State Patrol crime scene investigators spent 2 days documenting the crime scene. The house turned back over to the victim's relatives on Wednesday.
Law enforcement has obviously gone through this.
But this weekend, the defense successfully petitioned the court to lock down the scene until they could get eyes on it themselves.
It is their job to investigate this case. They have a duty and an obligation constitutionally to do so. They have a duty and obligation for their client to make sure that, and I understand, the Washington State Patrol's been through it, your forensic experts have been through it. They have the right to conduct an investigation of their own.
The defense will have until the end of the day to search the home on their own. They're only allowed to take pictures and aren't allowed to remove anything from the home. They say the priority, Joyce, is going to be to get in there, and they want to bring in a special machine to essentially make 3D renderings of the home for their own investigation that presumably we'll see again in court.
And interestingly, the suspect in this initially told police that he was not the shooter, right?
Yeah, if you remember, the suspect, the 15-year-old, called 911 himself and tried to pin this on one of his siblings. But the defense kind of alluded to the fact that they may be trying to kind of flesh out that part of the story. And they say that's why they need to get into this home to see if there's some evidence that may corroborate that. Again, foreshadowing to a defense that we may see in court.
All right, Sebastian, thank you.
A mother, father, and 3 of their children are shot.
He's going to blame it on his sibling who died. Great. This is going to be a fantastic trial. And then the state's going to, or the defense is going to blame it on that sibling like they did Scott. I don't know how these defense attorneys sleep. I really don't. For the Ellen Greenberg, how come the husband isn't on there? Ask Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. Ask him. He was the DA at the time, I believe, when Ellen Greenberg was unalived. Ask Rosco what he thinks. He doesn't talk, and he'll cry. I mean, it's the saddest thing. I had him in the back seat in the truck in his carrier, and he doesn't travel a lot with me, but he was in the carrier, and he just gets so sad. So sad that you bring me with you and you won't let me lay on your lap while you drive. It's so sad. The happiest day will Wendy is arrested. Well, again, you better keep that woman alive, because if Donna ain't alive, guess what? All goes south, doesn't it? Jack Campbell ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. Yes, Jibs and Jabs, thank you so much. Welcome. Ruth Markel is for the bar looking into Rashbaum. Shocking. Is there news on Donna's attorney after the man and woman? No. December 10th, there's going to be a hearing on any conflict that they have. It's at 2:30, and I intend to be there. Yup. I don't know. That order, this order, let me show you. As I read it, you try to parse, try to break apart the words, right? What does the judge include? What did he exclude? I'm a big, what doesn't belong here? Remember that on Sesame Street? What doesn't belong here? What isn't the same? And as I read it, it says this cause came before the court on its own motion. The court, having reviewed the notice of appearance filed by attorneys Josh Zellman and Jackie Fulford, and being otherwise fully advised, is ordered and adjudged the attorneys Zellman and Fulford perform a comprehensive conflict of interest check as it pertains to prior representation. Prior representation of co-conspirators or co-defendants or witnesses. Doesn't say the victim, does it? Case number 216-CF581, 216-3036, and related matters. Attorneys Zellman and Fulford at the upcoming case management, December 10, 2024, shall be prepared to fully address all conflicts of interest issues or certify their representation of the defendant will be conflict-free. And then that's all you have. But it doesn't say, do you have a conflict with the victim? So I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. Should be interesting. Melody's sentencing should be interesting. Will Rusty come up for air long enough? He is not showing up at that hearing. Let's bet, because that is just not happening. It would be fantastic if he did, but he's not. Check out the Joshua Hunsucker case. The paramedic kills wife with eye drops. I just watched a lady get convicted. Oh, she only got 5 years for the eye drop poisoning. She only got 5 years. She pled guilty. What is it? How you spell it? Hunsucker. You know, she only got 5 years for that. Poison me.
A North Carolina man who allegedly killed his wife. A North Carolina man who allegedly killed his wife by poisoning her with eye drops is now accused of doing the same thing to his 11-year-old daughter. We're breaking down the latest charges with the North Carolina police chief and a local reporter who's been following this story very closely. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. We've got a crazy crime story for you today that crisscrosses the last 8 years. It's a lot to go through, but we've got you covered. In September 2018, Stacey Hunsucker died from cardiac arrest in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. She had been a preschool teacher and a paralegal in the Charlotte and Mount Holly areas of the state. She was just 32 years old and shared 2 children with the defendant. According to prosecutors, her husband, former paramedic Joshua Lee Hunsucker, had her body cremated almost immediately after her death and then filed to collect on her $200,000 life insurance policy. That raised red flags for investigators. Since Stacey had been an organ donor, a blood sample had been taken and was able to be tested. Stacey had a large amount of tetrahydrozoline in her blood. That's the chemical that's found in eye drops. When it's ingested orally, it can attack the nervous system and even work like a neurotoxin. They also can reportedly lead to heart failure. Prosecutors believe Hunsucker put a large amount of eye drops in Stacey's blood over a period of time. According to a court filing, prior to her death, the defendant told 2 former co-workers that if he killed someone, he would do so using Visine or other eye drops. In December of 2019, Hunsucker was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, insurance fraud, and obtaining property over $100,000 by false pretense. He posted a bond of $1.5 million on Christmas Eve of that year and had been out on bond ever since. He had to wear a GPS monitor and abide by a curfew. Court documents give us a better idea of the accusations against Hunsucker. In addition to murder, Hunsucker is accused of defrauding the insurance company. To wit, the defendant did submit false or misleading information to the insurance company, the Independent Order of Foresters, Foresters Financial, by stating Stacey Hunsucker's cause of death was due to myocardial infarction, when in fact it was due to homicide by poisoning. This hasn't been the only time Hunsucker has made headlines, though. In 2021, Hunsucker was indicted on a charge connected to a fire on board a medical helicopter in the middle of the flight. Prosecutors allege he was working as a paramedic just before his indictment in 2019, when he allegedly set fire to the chopper, resulting in an emergency landing. Fortunately, no one was hurt, and he remained out on bond. Then in February 2023, Hunsucker allegedly staged his own kidnapping. And it's a story that will likely remind you of the case of Alec Murdaugh, the South Carolina lawyer who's serving 2 life sentences for the murders of his wife, Maggie, and his youngest son, Paul. According to the state, Hunsucker said he stopped to change a flat tire in Mount Holly, North Carolina, and was pistol whipped in the head. He said his hands were zip tied and that he'd been injected with something. He said his father-in-law, John Robinson, had been the culprit. John Robinson has been summoned to act as a witness on behalf of the prosecution. Court documents say, quote, an investigation by the Mount Holly Police Department found no evidence to support this claim, and that this was done to shift responsibility from the defendant to Robinson for his wife's death. And now in August of 2024, Hunsucker is once again accused of using eye drops has a weapon. Investigators believe that in February of last year, around the same time as he allegedly staged a kidnapping, Hunsucker poisoned his then 10-year-old daughter by putting the same substance, tetrahydrozoline, in one of her drinks. That same chemical was found in a urine test. According to court documents, Hunsucker's daughter's pH suffered symptoms including, but not limited to, low blood pressure, low heart rate, extreme exhaustion and sleepiness, and constricted blood vessels. While PH was receiving emergency medical treatment, the defendant informed the medical professionals that it appeared PH had been given Visine. This statement did not appear to be a reasonable conclusion based on the symptoms PH was exhibiting. Prosecutors say the alleged poisoning was all part of a scheme to make his in-laws seem like the suspects, since they were spending so much time with his two children. And during the time that Hunsucker was been out on bond, he's also accused of harassing his in-laws in various ways that the court documents detail. Quote, routinely videotaping and photographing them by using a GoPro camera to record them at PH's lacrosse practices, photographing them with PH coming and going from lacrosse practice, sending a package to the residence of John and Susie Robinson demanding that they dismiss the case. The original filing names them as John and Susie Hunsucker. That's believed to be a typo. They are Stacy's parents, quote, making vulgar gestures directed at them after locating them in public places. The document also states that many of those actions were done in the presence of his two kids. On August 5th, 2024, a grand jury indicted Hunsucker on 4 counts of felony witness intimidation and 4 felony counts of felony obstruction of justice. A motion to revoke bond reads, the defendant's behavior towards Mr. and Mrs. Robinson had become increasingly aggressive. The state believes that the defendant's dangerous actions will continue to escalate.
Based upon the fact that Mr. Hunsucker's assets are frozen in a civil wrongful death case, he does not have assets to access for purposes of retaining counsel.
The request for a public defender was granted and the motion to revoke bond was delayed until the public defender can get up to speed. Hunsucker agreed to remain behind bars until that next hearing, which is scheduled for October. And here to talk more about the case is Brookford Police Chief Will Armstrong. Now, Chief Armstrong, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a pretty horrific case. So talk to me a little bit about your thoughts overall about this case, and especially that added tidbit as far as Joshua Hunsucker allegedly trying to poison his own daughter with eye drops.
You know, when you read something like that, it's terrifying to think that that's even a possibility. But it looks like investigators have gotten enough information to make the charges. And so, I mean, they had to have enough substantial information there that they were able to pursue these charges. But it from reviewing this, it looks like in 2018 is when the death actually occurred. And then I believe it wasn't until December of 2019 that they actually charged him with first-degree murder. So, and that was based off of an old lab sample from a blood donating lab, or that I guess was in the area. It's heartbreaking. It's sickening to think that that's a possibility to do something like that to anyone, let alone an 11-year-old girl. So, interesting to see where this is going to take investigators moving forward, and what information they're going to bring forward to the trial.
By the way, when we talk about stories like this that show you how unpredictable the world.
So let me get this straight. He unalives his wife with Visine, which I don't know how you die from it, but apparently you do. It's actually, I only put saline in my eyes, so oof. You get bail. You set fire to a helicopter. You're still allowed out. You're harassing the witnesses and the victim's family, which you should have had a stay away. And then you try to murder your child. And then they can't revoke your bond because your public defender isn't up to par. I have that right? Do I have that right? How do you die from eye drops? Tetrahydrozoline. Tetrahydrozoline. The form of medicine called imidazoline, which is found in over-the-counter eye drops and nasal sprays. Poison occurs when you swallow it. Found in Izine, Geni, Murine, Tears Plus, OptiClear, OptiGene. I'm going to go home and make sure my husband doesn't have any of these eye drops like today. The symptoms: altered mental state, coma, difficulty breathing, blurred vision, shocking, blue lips and fingernails, so cyanosis, changes in your blood pressure, change in pupil size, fast or slow heartbeat, headache, irritability, low body temp, nausea and vomiting, nervousness, tremors, seizures, weakness. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm going to make sure we don't have any of these in my house. Holy cow. In young children, serious adverse events can occur from ingesting only a small amount, 1 to 2 milliliters. Many of these types of over-the-counter products do not have child-resistant closures. I didn't even know. I mean, I read it, but I didn't know why. Like, why would that kill you? You were happy to see Gascon was voted out, and handily. Like, those polls were correct. I thought the poll to get rid of Gascon, who was the DA in LA, it was like 23%, 23 points back, but I didn't believe it. And it really was. It really was. Let me go see what the, I know phone calls from prison had some Melody Harris calls. I don't know if she said she has a full playlist. I only see one. 14 minutes.
So what you wanted to do, is it not, you were trying to wait to see if any charges were taken out. So you didn't have to reveal to your lover that you actually told law enforcement. She did tell me on July 4th, about 2 o'clock in the morning, that he was in the burn pile. You just didn't want to have to tell her that, right?
No, that's not correct.
But you did wait until to see if she got arrested, and until it came out in evidence that you actually were cooperating with law enforcement, right?
Under advisement of my attorney.
Thank you. Please remain on the line. Hold for acceptance. This is a prepaid call from
Melody Ferris.
Your call has been accepted.
Darling. What you doing?
Going to let Bella out.
Ah.
Actually on the phone. I was actually on the phone with MJ.
Ah. How's she doing?
She wasn't doing nothing. She said she was doing good.
Oh.
I told her that I talked to you for a couple of minutes today was all that you all were having so much in lockdown that couldn't talk. You were trying to talk to Amanda. So.
Well, you'll have to tell her that they popped my door today, and so I had an attorney's visit. And I went up there, and it was a guy that had a Waffle House shirt on.
All right.
Wanted to know.
His main job is at the Waffle House, and he's attorney on the side?
I don't know. That's what I said. Was he an attorney and moonlighting at Waffle House, or did he work at Waffle House and moonlighting as an attorney?
Yeah.
So anyway, he wanted to know what he could do for me, and I said, well, Waffle House would have been good. And he wanted to know what my name was and who my attorney was and that kind of stuff. And I said, better question is, who are you here to see? Because I don't know you. So anyway, I came down, told the guard. She's like, really? They've done it again? Called you? You know? I'm like, yep. So.
Yeah. Part of the game.
Yep. Don't understand, but okay.
Yeah. You need to get Amanda to jack up your attorney.
You need to get to
He
the
needs
bottom
to
of
come and
what.
see you. He needs to come see you himself.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I mean-
plan to stay there for a while so you can talk.
Yeah. Well, he came last Thursday and they told him there was a computer shut down and he couldn't come back.
Uh-huh. I think it's time you had a good long face-to-face with him.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Oh. So I talked to Amanda and Chad. Amanda was making the meatloaf. I'm like, okay, it's nearly 8 o'clock at night. She's in making the meatloaf.
you realize it takes like, an hour to cook or more.
Or more. Yeah, depending on how big a meatloaf you make.
Yeah. Well, how big you made it.
I'm like, she needs to do what I used to do and spend it like her off day making up a bunch of stuff in the refrigerator. That's what she needs to do. But hey, I can learn.
Yeah.
After all, she's
One
30
thing that
years old.
Andrea does that works about real good, she makes her meatloaf recipe, but she makes the meatloaves into balls about the size, maybe not hardly as big as a baseball.
Right.
Puts them on a cookie sheet, and they get done a whole lot quicker.
Right.
So a big loaf takes a while.
All right.
Forward.
So, well, I had a minute on the phone, but I'm gonna let the next person go, and then I will call you back and try to call you back in a little bit. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm over here. I'm gonna let Bella out, but just give me a buzz.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Bye. Try again.
That's better.
That's better. Where are you?
In bed.
Oh. Alrighty.
I've been in bed almost an hour.
Ah. Everything okay?
Yeah. Day's over with. It got dark. Time to go to bed.
Yeah. And Chad both came in with pullovers on and acting like it was freezing to death. Of course, it went from, being, 96 degrees down to, like 68 today.
Yeah, it's changing.
You think
Ready
about
for
it?
some changes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
baby doll.
you okay?
Yeah. I just laying here asleep.
What'd you eat today?
Spaghetti. I had spaghetti. I had Colonel Sanders for lunch.
Did everybody go to Colonel Sanders?
No, Andrew didn't go, and I don't really know where they ate at. I went and got me mine and went back to the airport and sat and ate, and then come back home and finished up my laundry and worked on my computer, so I don't really know what they did.
Get your laundry done today?
I did.
Not that I've ever minded doing laundry, because actually I quite enjoy doing laundry. I'm kind of ready to do some.
It could be all right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be too.
Yep, pressure washing and cut down a tree and
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff.
Didn't mow the grass.
Oh, I love mowing grass anyway. Yeah, you will not ever hear me fuss about doing anything anymore. I don't care what it is. Not that I necessarily fussed anyway, but
I was going to say, I don't think you're fussed about taking care of things.
no. I just get aggravated at people not doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But I'm still, aggravated about that.
Oh.
Chad said he was enjoying his new truck.
Well, good.
Tennessee's game actually last night was, pretty good up until, I don't know how far, what time that it was, but finally
They played ball with them in the first half. And
okay.
then they didn't even show up the second half.
Right. What you got for tomorrow?
I don't know that I've got anything pressing tomorrow. Maybe have something on Tuesday on that Lewisburg deal, but right now I don't know if I've got anything pressing. I have to do some pressing.
Maybe both. Chad said that he had the staff today and got the forward, went and got the bed and put it up in Cameron's room, and said that she and my puppies enjoyed having a big bed to sleep on last night. I'm sure they would like for Cameron to be there all the time.
Yeah, they like the attention.
Yeah.
Ready to have them pile up on your bed?
I am. Yeah, I'm ready to hear Lucy snore and,
Mm-hmm. Other snores.
Yeah, very much so. Well, apparently we got another one going to be big. Maddie, the one that was in the room with me, that was detoxing off heroin. She was on workforce, and apparently she decided to cook the last of the chicken in the kitchen for her chef. And the corporal came in there and found it. So now she's going to defect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, people not learn to, behave? Apparently not.
Oh.
Oh. You're nuts.
Right now, they're good.
What is?
Yeah.
Lots of crazy dreams about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what, I've had some dreams that you wake up the next morning and you'll remember it for the first, 2 or 3 minutes, and then after that,
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what was that? Weird.
Yep.
I think that it's me finally being able to sleep after, 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, of not sleeping. 13
Right.
weeks, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And now being able to sleep. So,
Getting into a deep enough sleep to have dreams.
yeah, exactly. Amanda said today, she said, whoa, she said, your entire head is white. I'm like, I know.
Wow.
But hey, I about got to sleep on the side of my face filled up. So,
No, that's good.
yeah, but I have a feeling it's will leave a place on it. But I guess I can get that, laser up too.
Just be careful.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's you.
I miss you. There's a lot of things I miss.
Yeah.
Just don't take that wrong.
No. Not at all. Basically everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Never, ever take anything for granted. Ever. Not, second a minute of every day.
Make the most of it.
It's been a hell of a year. A year and 3 months.
Yeah. But, hey.
But, like I said in church today, forward. Can't go back.
Forward.
And they said, if you do not forgive those that have transgressed against you, then you can't move forward. That doesn't mean that you have to have them in your life.
No. Go your own direction.
And maybe before too long, there'll be a little Amanda or a little Chad.
No doubt.
Like sitting, rock it to my heart's content.
I can't wait.
And then when it starts crying, hand it back. Go, here you go. Thing of it is I'm still actually, good at still sitting in a, recliner and rocking and sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Hadn't lost your touch?
Nope. Pretty sure.
No doubt you got it.
Go curl right up in that recliner and sleep and rock.
Lay that baby up on your shoulder, just rock and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Nothing like the smell of a newborn baby. Yeah. Nothing like the smell of a newborn baby.
Yeah. It's like a puppy.
You got to unwrap them and make sure all their toes and fingers and, everything's okay. Don't know what it is, but, you got to unwrap them and look at them.
Got to unwrap them, look at them first time, make sure everything's the right spot.
There's nothing cuter than little baby feet. See, not even mine were born all wrinkled up or anything. So mine still has me.
Because they were half grown when they were born.
Yeah, Scott looked like he was, 3 months old.
About ready to start walking by the time you gave birth to him.
Oh, I know it. Yep. Did she say anything about Bruce or anything?
This call will be terminated in 2 minutes.
Say anything about Bruce?
Yeah.
No.
No. You are fixing to lock up.
All right, baby.
So,
call me in the morning.
I will try to. Tomorrow is oranges and lemons and all that kind of stuff. So whatever.
Well,
or it's Monday. So
as
I don't know what
always, when you can,
schedule will be.
whenever you can.
But I will. Be careful.
Okay.
All right.
Be careful, baby.
I will. I love you.
Oh, I love you. Oh, darling.
All right.
Right. Bye, baby.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
I wonder what the oranges and lemons thing references in the jail. So Cherry and Max said, where's that? You had a monkey? You had a monkey and it got hold of an eye drop? In your purse and drank it? Oh my God. It's illegal here in Canada to own a monkey? Why? It's not going to be a conversation as much as it's going to be a double gaslighting session. Rusty got betrayed. Rusty betrayed. I wonder if his daughter that he was living with when he was cheating on Christine and fucking Melody at the same time is talking to him. That's what I wondered. Yeah, somebody was mentioning Phaedra. Didn't Phaedra buy her uncle's funeral home? Somebody was mentioning Phaedra was a, here it goes, Jersey Girl 50. This is so after the fact, but remember Phaedra Parks on Real Housewives of Atlanta, which was one of the first Real Housewives and absolutely hilarious, was a lawyer and a funeral director. I do. It's so funny. People are surprised Gascon was relieved of duty. I think it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Here we go. I had a monkey who got in my purse, grabbed, ran, opened, drank a small amount, and almost died in minutes. How did they fix it? How did they fix your monkey? I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud. How did they fix it? Primates are very social and live in groups with their families. Removing babies or adults from this group would be distressing. Yeah, Rusty had no problem cheating on Christine. None at all. She owned the home he was living in. So he had to move into his daughter's home, who didn't like guns. That was that story in the trial. Just love you, baby doll. Love you, baby doll. Beach Bum wants to ask Rusty to define love, and is that a verb? Do you want down? No, you want it. Do you want to just sit here? Rosco is so cute. Wesley's barking at Rosco. Oh, they want to play. Oh. Roscoe's not home today. He's with me. He has a vet appointment here at 12. She comes to the office because I'm that bougie. Well, I took him to, when I first got him, I took him to this vet that's very close to the office called Cross Creek. And everything was fine until the last time. That's how it works. And I did a drop off instead of an appointment because I thought, oh, that's, I could just leave him. And then when I went to pick him up at 6, I called and no one answered. And I get over there and he's not ready. He hadn't even been seen. He'd been there 8 hours in one of those little kennels. I was like, he sat there for 8 hours and you didn't even weigh him. Like, you've done nothing. And that's when they were like, no, we take our appointments first. I was like, what? I said, it was 9 hours because I dropped him off at 8 o'clock. And so I was like, give me my dog. And then I had to use my Facebook group to find a vet that will come to the office. And she recently bought another veterinarian office. So she does both. She has another vet that works in the office, and then she does mobile. I'm like, what do you mean you're keeping him in that little kennel for not? Well, it's just what we do. What do you mean that's what you? So that's what I always do. Like, what do you mean that's what you do? Like, how long has that been going on? And why would you do that? Oh, people are fine with it. I'm like, people are fine? Really? Do they really know that you haven't even weighed the dog? Did he even get water in 9 hours? Because it really didn't look like it. Was that corruption, Rosco? That was corruption. I was pissed. He's barking out of admiration. Oh, my coworker, my art. Yes, my coworker got me this art. He went to the Atlanta market earlier this week and he brought back a bunch of panels. And one of them said drama and one of them said blah. So I took the blah and I have to hang it. Best vets are the old farm vets. Well, I mean, it could have been normal. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Could be the way everyone does it. I just don't appreciate it. And I should have asked more questions. So that's my fault. What is the blah, blah, blah? It's art. You can't trust Rusty up and take him out without him scoping out the room. So I had a big piece of artwork back here, Chris, and it's in a house. So my business partner stages all of our listings. If you don't know, I'm Patty Wilson, and I'm a real estate broker and property appraiser. And it's kind of slow this time of year, right before the Thanksgiving, right? And right, it's precious. So I just come on YouTube. But that artwork, it was really pretty. It was very orangey. And I guess when Scott went through the Atlanta market, he's like, that's Patty. Because I do say blah, blah, blah a lot. Because I love Seinfeld. It was like blah, 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 blah. The thing. I love my vet here. Dr. Smith lives in my high and has attended Wesley and Jezebel for the last 8 years. She's never locked up a patient in a crate for 8 hours. I just couldn't believe it. Like, if you're that busy that you have to do that, you have too many patients. There's just too many. At some point, you have to take care of what you have. You're buying that cheese board today. Did I miss a cheese board? Did I miss a cheese board, Sassy Cat? So let me look up, who was it? Jesse. I looked at, someone mentioned, look up Jesse K. U-R-Z. Oh, another eye drops murder. Wasn't that the girl? It was her friend. Was that the girl? It was her friend that was killed. Yeah, it was. She killed her friend. Charcuterie board. Oh, because I called this a trial charcuterie. Rosco got the Richard Allen treatment. Yes, he did, but he doesn't have a therapist. He didn't have a therapist to visit him every day, did he? He like, I don't know why he won't look at the camera. There you go. Rosco, say hi. No, you don't. He doesn't like it. Like if I go to take his picture, I have to be like sly about it. It's the oddest thing. What is my email? Patty with a Y is funny at gmail.com. Roscoe has vet PTSD. She killed her friend after fleecing her of her money. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I just don't understand people. I just don't. There's nothing really else except there's another hearing going on that family massacre murder trial. Doris sent me a text message because I was at the radio station when that was on. And she's like, Patty, this is the most boring hearing I've ever heard. Right? This one, where is it?
Upon her, or B, secretly.
This one, they're doing a verdict watch. This is Iowa versus Louisiana kidnapping. Nobody has time for that. My fur bae doesn't like her pic taken either. She always turns her head. Why? Why aren't you like, he's so socially aware and available to people, but you pick a phone in his face, he hides, don't you? You hide. The only other thing on is that toddler murder trial with the urine. How do people get into a cult?
Any other investigative steps you took that?
Day 3. How long do they think this is going to take? Oh, it's Cherokee County. That's the one you were all saying. Here it is.
Night, other than interviewing all the parties, having the crime scene processed, collecting the cell phones.
I did get a search warrant to take photos and some blood for Chloe Driver, so I can get it the very next day.
Okay. And what was the purpose of, you said so you could get some blood?
It's a sample. We didn't know who the parents were because they were all married, so we didn't really know who's mom and who's dad. So we did take blood, or a sample, not a blood, but a sample of saliva from Benjamin, and then a sample from Chloe Driver.
Was that the purpose for proving parentage of Hannah?
That is correct.
Okay. And did you obtain a search warrant to get any evidence from Chloe Driver's body?
Yes.
And what was that for?
I wanted to get swabs off of her hands to see if she had DNA from Hannah on her hands.
All right. And where was Chloe Driver taken after she left 215 Mountain Vista?
Taken straight to Kennestone Hospital.
All right. And in terms of the law enforcement response to the hospital, once she was taken to the hospital, was there an officer at the hospital with her?
Yes. We had an officer sit on her 24/7.
Okay. And you mentioned that you got a search warrant. When did you first go to Kennestone Hospital to make contact with Miss Driver?
12/9, which would have been the very next day.
The next day. Okay. And when you went to make contact with her at Kennestone Hospital, you indicated that you had a search warrant. What was sort of your intention in making contact with her on the 9th?
So my intention was just to get photos of her, to get her saliva, and also to get DNA off of her hands.
All right. And when you interacted with her on that date, was it recorded?
Yes, it was.
All right. And One moment, Your Honor, trying to start. That's fine. Your Honor, I was speaking with the defense based on our earlier discussions about the videos of Ms. Driver's interviews and the written annotations that have been added to them. I believe the parties are in agreement to stipulate to the admissibility of States Exhibit 100, 101, and 102. That's correct, Judge.
All right, you're admitted.
All right. When you went and made contact with Ms. Driver, was she capable of speaking verbally?
She was whispering, but not necessarily loudly speaking like I am today.
Okay, and why?
She had a slash in her throat.
Okay, did she have a trach?
Yes.
All right. And was she capable of giving written responses?
Absolutely.
And did she give written responses?
She's the one who told me she wanted to write stuff down.
Okay. May I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you States Exhibit 103 and 104. Do you recognize these?
Yes, this is my handwriting on the top and her handwriting on her social security number, date of birth, and address, as well as her name. And then this is her statements.
Okay. And do these truly and accurately reflect in States 104, the Miranda form you exercised on that day, and States 103, her handwritten responses to your questions?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I would tender States 103 and 104. No objection.
You're admitted.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to publish States Exhibit 100.
All right.
And on what day did you indicate this was?
12/9.
12/9, okay.
Hey, Chloe. My name is Detective Cruz, and I'm here because I have a search warrant, okay? But I'm here to collect kind of DNA sample of your inner teeth, a DNA sample of kind of your hands, and then I can take some pictures, and that's pretty much it. Okay? I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, and then see if you're okay to even answer anything. You can't talk about what I ask any questions. Okay? So, do you know how many quarters are in a dollar? Good. Do you know where you are located today? Good. Do you know what day is today? Very good. And so, I'm just here because I want to make sure that A, you're okay. Okay? And that B, I get stuff from your body to make sure that nobody is hurting you. Okay? You have experienced trauma, and so we want to make sure that you are taken care of. All right? And I'm going to leave this paperwork for you and my business card. And my business card will have my cell on it. If you need anything, that cell is on 24/7. Okay? You got that? Perfect. I'm going to leave this paperwork right here. You don't have to talk. You don't have to talk at all, okay? Because we're not going to talk today, okay? And I'm going to visit you again tomorrow, okay? And I'm going to visit you the next day if you want. But I want to make sure that you're okay, okay? So let me put this here for you. And I'm going to leave you my business card. Okay. And then I'm going to take this out of here because we don't need this anymore. Okay? Okay. Are you cold and your feet cold? A little bit? camera is ready. Would you hold this for me on this hand if you can? Perfect. And stay like just like that, because I'm going to come on this side, okay? Thank you. Hold up this hand. That's perfect. You can put that one down, okay? Again. So I wanted to tell you, I did talk to mom for you and dad. And they asked about you, and they want to see you. That's okay. If you want to see them, you can. If you don't want to see them, you don't have to. But they can't come into the hospital because this is a trauma unit. And so when they move you to a new unit, they may be able to visit, okay? So we will ask at that point if they can visit you, all right? Is that okay? But you don't have to see them if you don't want to, okay? Can I take pictures here? Okay? And go on this side, okay? You're all closed up. How's your legs? Are they swollen? Are they okay? Can I take a look? Oh, you got compressions on. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna leave those on. Those are very good for you. You want a nurse? Want me to do a nurse? You sure? Can we talk tomorrow? I want to talk to you tomorrow, though, okay? Because I feel like I want to give you everything, okay? And I haven't visited yet, so I can't tell you for sure, okay? So I want to make sure that you're okay first. She's at a different hospital, because this is not a baby hospital, okay? Breathe, please, and heal. I want you to breathe, okay? I do not want to put up your blood pressure. It looks like it's going to go up. So I'm going to have the nurse check. Just be on the safe side, okay? Hold on. Her nurse, I just want to make sure that her blood pressure is not going up too high. Can you check that just for me? I just want to make sure that her blood pressure is okay and I'm not elevating it in any way.
I don't know what it has been, but she's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, I was concerned because I'm like, I see it a little bit spiking and I'm like, I do not want to cause any spike in anything.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about medical
It's
stuff.
okay, that's what we're here for.
Okay. I just scared too, just so you know. Okay.
We get scared of certain stuff too.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just want to make sure you're okay, that's it. And when I look at that and then it starts going up, I'm like, uh-oh. So, because you can't speak to me currently, is why I don't want to talk, okay? I want you to be able to say, oh, you can write stuff down? You want to write stuff down? Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Let me get something to write with, okay? Are you whining? You want to write? I don't understand. So let me get something for you to write. I don't want you to talk, okay? Let me get something for you to write with. I have her write stuff. She wants to talk. Yes. How about that? That's a good enough. Good enough. These are all juvenile. This, yeah, I have them in different languages, just so you know, yes. Okay. Yeah, all types of stuff. Right. I'll do you now. All right. I'll leave it out. All that matters. Okay. And I think she has a book. I'm gonna take away that. I'm gonna see if she can write on that. I found something for you to write with, okay? Okay. Before you say anything to me, I want you to read your rights, okay? And I have to do this because our policy, state of Georgia, you have rights, all right? And everybody has rights. And I do not want you to not listen and hear them and then read them for yourself, okay? This is your first right. You have the right to remain silent, okay? You don't have to speak to me, okay? Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law, all right? You have the right to talk to a lawyer or have them present during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed for you and any questioning if you wish, okay? You can decide at any time during this interview that you can exercise your rights and you can quit being answered with any questions, or you can quit me asking any questions or making any statements. You can just stop at any point and say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Is that okay? Fair enough? Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write everything for you, today's date, which is 12/9. We are at Keystone Hospital. Okay, the time is 16:59. And I'm going to put mine. Okay? And him, I'm going to have you witness for signing this, okay? I'm going to sign here. Okay. You're going to put your name here, how old you are, your date of birth, your address where you live. If you don't have an address, don't put one. You're going to read each right and then put your initials, and then read that paragraph saying you understand your rights. Then you're going to sign, okay? That's for you, and that's for you. That's all. Good question. All right, I'm gonna have him sign this paper, but I'm gonna take this paper from you. You can write whatever you want to write, all right? Just sign that with my signature line. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. You want to do this? You want to ask the question, write it down, and then I'll read it out loud and I'll answer the question? You want to do that? Yeah? Okay. You can keep the pen. She said, I want to know if my baby survived ASAP. That's one question. I want to know who is staying with her. That's the second question. Okay. And I'm going to answer both for you. Your baby did not survive. Okay? Your baby did not make it. All right? Your baby is currently getting an autopsy done to find out what actually happened to her body. Okay? You want to ask more questions? No? I'll leave it for you. You can ask me anything you want. Who did that to you? Did your husband do that to you? That's a question? You want to answer? Yeah? Okay. I want to speak to Ben Young and Ben Michael and Renee Driver. Okay? We can't let you speak to Ben Young, okay? Because you have that in there. We can't let you speak to your mom, and your mom said she's coming, okay? Do you want to speak to her? She's coming here. Do you want to speak to her in person, face to face, or on the phone? In person, face to face. Okay, good. So I've already called your mom, and she said she's going to be here tomorrow morning, okay? She's on her way. You have another question? You cannot speak to Ben Young, because I think he did this to you. Can you tell me what you're saying? I don't want anybody to hurt you anymore.
Imagine thinking, like this officer's doing. She's so kind. And imagine thinking that she doesn't want anyone to hurt her. I wonder how she felt after she found out what actually happened. They didn't know. They probably didn't know what had happened. The baby unaliver has an NG tube. Yeah, they have to feed her through the tube because she cut her throat.
She's just, her heart rate is getting elevated. Take some big deep breaths.
Okay, let me read it. Let me read it. Breathe. I want you to breathe. Breathe. Okay.
Look at me. Breathe. Slow. You're breathing. Look at me.
What's your name? Chloe.
Chloe. Chloe. Look at me. Breathe. Breathe. There you go. There you go. You're doing good. Just breathe. Just breathe. Okay. It was going wonky because her pulse ox was right here, so when she was writing, it was just giving us. No, it's fine. That's why it was alarming. But then she just got worked up.
Do you want me to read it? Yeah. You want me to read it? He didn't do it. I did. I was going insane and no longer wanted to be with his friends, but kept coming back for him. I only wanted my baby and husband, but he refused. Who are his friends? Who are they? Do you know their names? Help me. You don't want to? Okay. Okay? Okay. We're stopping. That's it. No more. I don't want to hurt someone. Breathe. Breathe, please. Breathe, please. I don't want to talk to you and get you worked up. Okay? You're already worked up. I can see it. Listen to me. I'm coming tomorrow again. Can we call tomorrow? Okay? He can't come here because they won't let him. Because of COVID, nobody can come in this hospital. So when you switch roles,
We can go back to the trial in just a minute. You cured your eye eczema with fermented urine, had it 18 months and tried everything. It never came back. Let me read it again. You cured your eye eczema with fermented urine. You had the eczema for 18 months, right? And tried everything. What did you do with the urine with eczema in your eye? Like, what did you do? How did you handle this, Miss Stormer? It worked for real. But what did you do? Like, what did you do? Did you use a syringe? Did you use eyedroppers? Like, what did you do? You couldn't even wear makeup. It was that bad. I dabbed it in the areas of the eczema for 3 to 4 days. Okay. Fermented, you know, if anything happens to me, you guys need to tell people why I'm searching for this stuff. Fermented urine as a cleaning agent. Okay, I'm going to share this. If YouTube cuts the video, you know why. Ferment lactic. In classic antiquity, fermented urine was used to wash clothes, remove hair from hides, dye cloth, and remove rust from iron. It can refer to urine that's been treated with a bacteria to produce an ammonia or to a hallucinogenic drug, which is probably why this guy's taking it, from fermented human waste. Jankum is a hallucinogenic inhalant made by fermenting human urine and feces in a bottle. In the mid-90s, it was popular among Zambian youth. And in 2007, the reports became popular in middle and high school. However, the validity of the reports have been questioned. Well, it's Wikipedia. And like that girl said, it's consensus over truth. In fresh urine, most of the nitrate, I guess, during storage, urine is hydrolyzed due to microbial urease activity into ammonia. Urine stored during 6 days contains COD concentration, ammonium nitrogen. Anaerobic biological fermentation as a strategy to enhance what? What are you enhancing? Microbial electrolysis cell. I can't even. Urine therapy or urotherapy is an alternative medicine practice that involves using human urine for medicinal or cosmetic purposes. However, there's no scientific evidence. Martha Christie, author of Your Own Perfect Medicine, claims that putting your urine on your face, dubbed urotherapy, can help reduce the appearance of acne, eczema, and other skin conditions because pee contains minerals and nutrients. Well, who would have thought that? Urine facials are a thing for psoriasis and eczema. Pee facials are a home treatment. I mean, you can't go to a store or, I guess, a salon. Involves a person collecting their urine, dabbing it on a cloth or piece of cotton, and wiping it on their face. It tightens pores like a toner. Urine from the morning is supposed to be the most potent, and it has stayed in the body for a long period of time. The urea and uric acid in the liquid does everything from exfoliate to help the body absorb nutrients usually lost in the toilet bowl. A writer tried it and felt the method irritated her skin and caused a reaction similar to a nappy rash. Maybe you left it on too long. I'll tell you what. Is that why there's urine is cut in cosmetics? They used to make human urine to make gunpowder. Is urine vegan? I would think. The ammonia smell was terrible, but it didn't sting and worked to treat. Okay. How long do you leave it on your face, Miss Stormer? I mean, because I don't know everything. I mean, I'm sure if I had eye eczema, it's got to hurt. I would try what I could. I just don't know how you arrived at that treatment. Roscoe's curious. Roscoe's wanting to know. I know, and I'm going to get weird pop-ups because of urine. Put a note in your PI in training and also you talk to your beeps. So anyway, the story about this chick, Chloe Driver, well, Miss Stormer tells us how long she kept the urine. I mean, I'm happy it worked for you because eczema is rough. This is about the horses. So on Thursday, October 21st, 2021, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation kicked off the premiere of Lowell Women's 20th anniversary horse show. So there. The show is conducted through the TRF Second Chances program at Lowell Correction Institute in Ocala. So if you don't know, you're not from here, Ocala is horse country. It's like our Lexington, Kentucky area. Additionally, a special live stream was conducted to help viewers see and meet the faces that make the program possible and participate. This live stream at the Lowell 20th Anniversary Horse Show presented the horses and the women in the Second Chance program as they work together every day to care for one another and to build a brighter future. For more than 2 decades, thanks to extraordinary support from the thoroughbred industry and FDOC, this unique program has been saving horses and changing lives. With the success of each graduate, the ripple effect on family, friends, and colleagues and neighbors in society is beyond measure. Tears ran and smiles were shared as program members shared how horses impacted lives for the better. Lauren Bandy, one of the forefront graduates of Second Chances program, remembered her first day at the barn after waiting a year in prison before being allowed to join the program. The first day that we were transported to the farm, we came over the hill and I saw the farm and the horses for the first time, and I was overwhelmed with emotion, brought me to tears to my eyes, and I felt hopeful. Another program alumnus experienced that same emotion of awe and connection to her horse, Frosty Grin. He would look right at you and he would know if I was having a blue day. I felt that horse looked right into my soul. I talked to that horse like he was a human being, and he would come back at me like, I know. I had some heart-to-heart talks with that horse. While Frosty Grin might be your main love, Bonds has nothing but positive things to say about John Evans, who oversees the program. He will do everything in his power to help you succeed if that is what you really want out of life. I've never met a man like him. He's amazing. That man, he has such a heart for the ladies out there and the program. He doesn't look like, oh, you're a convict or, oh, you're a criminal. He never once made you feel like that. He made you feel like you were somebody. And that's why. So many people ask why. Why put all your effort into making Second Chances possible? He's the equine program director of the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, Second Chances at the Lowell CI has the answer. The reason I stay is that it's changing people's lives, and I don't only do it, but the horses do it. There's a lot of satisfaction in seeing a lot of these girls go and succeed, even the ones that aren't working in the industry. I think it makes a lot of difference. Lowell CI, the assistant warrant, also sees the differences. I think one of the biggest things they gain is confidence because they learn a little bit more about themselves and what they're capable of. They never thought they could do. Second Chances is incredible. I've done when it's done for the men and women that get to work with the horses. Not only do the horses get well taken care of, they teach these people how to have really respect and love an animal and take care of them properly. They take that responsibility seriously, and it works like magic. Donna Barton Brothers stated, with horses, there's a saying that horses bring out the character in a person. And I think that's somewhat true, but I think also that horses identify character in a person. At Wallkill, what I saw is people which is a prison in New York. What I saw is people who identify ways that they could communicate better with the horses, and they were implemented those skills. It also helps them communicate better with people. It's expanded to 8 states. Inmates from every imaginable background take part in the rigorous training program when they learn horse anatomy, how to care for the injuries, nutrition, and other aspects of horse care. Graduates receive a certification based on the level of expertise they have mastered. Wildly successful adult program. Just this past February, they may have launched a youth program that focuses on serving young men aged 12 to 18 in Ocala. Building on more than 35 years saving horses and saving lives. Well, I guess it saves the lives of the horse. It's fascinating. Good question. Very good question. Let's go back to discussing diaphragms in toilets, please. I know. So anyway, this chick, it was about the man. The man didn't want the baby, so she unalived the baby. Don't tell the Innocence Fraud Project about the horse program. They won't find anyone who wants to leave. That's right, because they won't be able to afford a house. I mean, a horse on the outside. Get vinegar, put it in a plastic dropper bottle, and a shaker of seasoning salt. I kept it in my beach bag. It helps a lot. Never use fresh water, only ice bags. Not sure if I have eczema or psoriasis, so better not use pee. What else works? Now I'm really itchy. Bless it. Okay, so I need a new disclaimer that we are not doctors or holistic care providers, and none of the information you're seeing is my own. Okay. No, I didn't. No, you've got to be kidding me. No. No. Richard Allen tried feces. Yeah, of course he did. He learned what he did. Right? Some guy ate dog feces here in Florida and at FSU to try and remove the curse on FSU football. He made a bet and lost it, so he ate dog shit. True story. I do. Whatever helps them. So incredible. I can't even look at that guy. You know he's from Tallahassee? Wade Wilson is from Tallahassee. His parents moved. I looked them up. Yeah, Wade Wilson is from here. He went to Childs High School. His parents moved out of the area. They're in Georgia now. What a bizarre show. What a bizarre show. They forgot to tell him the poo came from the University of Georgia. I don't know. I told you all, I use Head and Shoulders on my face. Right? But you don't want to get it in your eyes either because it burns like a mother. Look at Rosco holding on for dear life. Like this kid will not let go. Goodness gracious, I'm creating a monster here. A monster. Yeah, I don't know. This lady, I can't deal with people who, I don't know, choose not to leave their men and for a kid. She was 20 years old. It's just too much for me. Sorry. Sorry. It's too much. Right, Roscoe? It's too much. Bless his heart. Right? Prosecutors, whoa, what is this? Prosecutors near closing arguments in the YSL RICO trial. That's incredible. I didn't think it would end. I thought it was all just going to continue on and on. Who knew? Aw, thank you, Carol. He is beautiful, but he is spoiled. Like, look at this. Don't forget to hit the like, never know what the conversation's going to be. That is true. Who knew? Just a week or so ago, we were talking about diaphragms, right? I hope they pull more of those phone calls from that chick. Maybe allergy shots from the doctor then. Hope you find some relief. Well, I've always believed like the Brazilian rainforest held all the answers medicinally. I don't know why I believe that. Do you understand, Rosco? I just believe it. I believe there's an answer for everything. We just don't know it yet. Are there any jurors left? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of jurors left. Can you imagine? Can you even imagine putting up with that? They're still doing that body cam on that girl. I wonder what her parents thought. I'll have to look at that. Imagine your kid's in a cult and you can't get her out because of some dude. Oh no, it's awful. You can't get over it once it's done. So here's Twitter. I mean, this just never ceases to amaze me anymore. I don't know why I don't know why. But this chick, Kendall Burton, sure, she's a nice girl. She's like, my Karen Reed people, look into Richard Allen and Delphi. It's 1,000 times worse than hers. We need your help getting attention to the misjustice that has occurred. Misjustice, injustice. I remember looking into her trial when everyone was complaining about Judge Bev. I thought, wait until they hear about Judge Gull. I'm disgusted. Pray he stays alive for an appeal. Gull made Canoni look like the best, most balanced judge ever. Gull fixed this trial to hang Allen. Here's where it goes. Go back to bed. The Richard Allen fiasco is the most egregious I've seen since Karen Reed. I hope the Innocence Project takes them on. It's almost like Reed, corruption, election coming up, need to solve the case, easy fix, blame someone mentally incapacitated. So when someone's really mentally incapacitated, say homeless people in your neighborhood or your area, you can really tell the difference physically. You can see by the look on their face and how they carry themselves and their walk. There's certain physical attributes to someone who has lost their mind that take place. He suffers from none of those, like none of them. And they're so pissed at Auntie Bev for telling what's his face to get on a red eye. Look at that. The Glare, Brandy Churchill, Melanie Little, and Emily D. Baker. Dude's being paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Show up. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be a ton of it. Emily Stone, dear jurors, I want you to know what we know. One day you will. She's pro prosecution, Lily. An innocent man needs your help. They're asking Joe Rogan to help Richard Allen. That's what a stretch all of this is. Joe Rogan, we have an innocent man, Richard Matthew Allen of Delphi, a judicial tyrant, Judge Francis Gold. A clear message has been sent the past few days that it's okay for our government to arrest Americans with no criminal history and no evidence. I don't understand why they keep saying there's no evidence. To throw them in a prison in a solitary confinement while awaiting trial. Tell me you know nothing about the judicial system. And abuse them, involuntarily medicate them with injected antipsychotics, which if you're psychotic and you go to a say you're in a mental hospital, like here we have Chattahoochee, all day you're medicating people against their will. On the criminal side, all day, because it's your job to get them to a place where they can be in their own trial, where they can watch their own trial. Keep them hours upon hours from their attorneys and family. Tell me that you know nothing about a jail. Absolutely nothing. You're in jail. In this case, they kept him in a prison because they couldn't keep him safe in the jail. You don't get to be with your family. My son James works in a private prison in Hobbs, New Mexico. And every day there's at least one lockdown where you can't use the phone, you can't call your family, you can only have visitors like once every 2 weeks. You're in prison. In this case, you're in jail. Leon County Jail, where Don is being held, they don't really have in-person visitation. It's only on a screen, and they've been doing that since COVID. The family list goes on and on in order to coerce a confession out of them, even something as simple as, I did it. They're asking Joe Rogan? What's Joe Rogan going to do? I would agree there's some bad policing. The judge was questionable. The system needs to be held accountable for putting him in prison as the only way to protect him. What do you suggest they would have done? Everyone who's judging that he put in a maximum security prison, he cannot have freedom of movement. They cannot protect him from the other people. What would you have done with Richard Allen? Where would he have gone to protect him so he's alive to face justice in a trial that a jury of 12, if they so choose, would have let him go? Where would he have gone? Here at Blue Eyed Bashful, there's a constitutional lawyer. Violate every constitutional law that protects us. I saw a recent article. Most Americans walk around in an empty thought process, hence common sense and understanding the law. It's just, and now they're going to go to Wade Wilson. Four hours ago, the deputy prosecutor in the Delphi double murder trial of Richard Allen, motion granted to appear virtually. Oh, that's a different case. This is fair. It baffles me. Those who will loudly profess that Karen Reed's repeated "I hit him" means nothing Yet Richard Allen's "I killed Abby and Libby" while in prison, involuntarily medicated, eating his own feces, and slamming his head into a wall. Bullet found at the scene supposedly matching his gun, even though the other gun owned by folks who live at the crime scene or right next to it could be excluded. Taillight pieces supposedly from Karen Reed's near John's body. Richard Allen put himself at the trails, but not the actual crime scene. Karen Reed puts herself at the spot. I'm just saying, if you're not applying your reasoning across the board, then what the F are you doing? All of your arguments regarding Karen Reed now mean next to nothing to me because it's clear you don't believe them. That's disappointing. I don't care what you think of Turtle Boy. My respect for him grew when he showed consistency in his reading. I don't understand these people going to the mat for this guy. I just don't. It wasn't the perfect crime, was it? He got caught. It's only the perfect crime if you don't get caught. I can't, so I might just go now. We might just go. You deleted what, Eric? What did you delete? The roast beef that sprouted wings. I pick up when I hear the innocence fraud talking points talking about Joe Rogan. Are you really? That's interesting. I think Joe Rogan wants clicks. I don't even know if he really believes in it. That's the thing people don't get. Some of these people who are pro-innocence do so to enhance their channel. It's just like actors and actresses. It doesn't mean they truly believe in this stuff. They're just trying to gain another side and create clicks and create an audience and satisfy an audience. They could be relatively neutral, but they're going to do it because it pays. Roast beef sounds good for dinner. It honestly pays. I mean, go watch them. It's hard for me to watch. It's hard for me. It really is. When they go down a rabbit hole that clearly defies the fact, it's really hard to believe. They're just all, I don't even know what is it? I don't know. It's beyond rose-colored glasses. It really is. They have to have some like guy with one eye, Cyclops, committing the crime because that's what they put in their brain. I'm telling you, these people would let Ted Bundy off. They would let him off 100%. Because some people felt he was handsome. And there's just no way he could take two girls from the same lake area in Washington and no one would ever have screamed. Impossible. But there was a way, and he did do it. And the girls were killed. And one of their bodies was lost. They found the remains for the one girl, and the family sued, and they received money because the remains were lost, and the other girl's remains were never found. But these people would let Ted Bundy off. And that's what I told someone on Twitter. I'm like, you would let these people off. Shut her up. How do you mean that you can't kill two people at once when they're petrified? Fear is the greatest motivation. And Abby supposedly said on this 43-second video, "Don't leave me," to Libby, and Libby didn't leave her. You want to motivate someone? Make them scared to freaking death. That'll do it. So, very sad to me. Very, very sad. I find these channels that support these murderers are gaslighting the public. And when I recognize it, I get sick. Well, a lot of them are defense attorneys and they have to keep that up. There was that lady, she was an African-American woman on with Gray Hughes the other night with Vinny after the Richard Allen conviction, and she just was crying. She was literally crying at the injustice, not the injustice for the girls, but for what she believed Richard Allen, because they housed him in a prison. You saw what happened to Dahmer, right? When he was allowed freedom of movement, someone killed him. That's what's going to happen. Right? I mean, think of that. Freedom of movement. If they let Richard Allen in a jail, they have to allow freedom of movement. It's not set up for a maximum or to protect him. It just isn't set up that way. So what do? You can't keep people from him all the time. And the state, it's the state versus Richard Allen. It's not the Germans versus Allen. It's not. It's not the Markells versus Adelson. It's the state versus Adelson. They have to keep that person safe. And we saw that hearing where Donna's people tried to change what the jail was doing, and Everett's like, not much I can do about it. It's a completely separate entity. And then the jail was like, you're going to have to sue in federal court if you feel like a right was violated. And they didn't sue because there was no right violated. They have to keep her alive, and they have to keep her on watch when you make that threat. It's the same thing, just a different location. And Leon County Jail just happens to be nicer than the prison system in Florida. Oh my God, look at this. My market has fresh roast beef sliced in gravy. We Germans are not like war. No, Libby German. Libby German. No, my dog is not burped yet. My dog is not burped yet. Not only were they scared to death, but they were young girls. They probably had no idea what to do or how to fight back. 100%. They didn't know what was going to happen. They were trying to appease them so he wouldn't shoot them. The gun did all the work. There's a lot more than them not screaming. There wasn't enough evidence for my mind. So yes, I understand. And that's understandable, but I hope eventually this Gull lady opens up so you can watch the whole thing or read the entire transcript, because depending on where you got your information about this trial, and Gray Hughes said it greatly. I mean, not everyone had great notes. So when these people are coming out, like Bob's, I think his name's Siegel or something like that, come out and talk about the case, their notes are so sparse that it's not giving you the whole context of what was said. So I hope she does that after December 20th. Whatever. I mean, they're going to have to release it. They're going to have a full transcript once the appeals start. Lucky dog. Yeah, he is lucky. In our state funding, incarceration in jail and prison come from two different places, and this couldn't happen. But most begged for prison over jail when I worked. Oh, really? Oh, Leon County Jail is nice. It's newer. It's nice. I mean, if you're going to be in jail, that's the one you want to be in, right? Well, I'm going to go because this is really fun, but there's no trial to watch, and I'm out of words right now. I'm completely out of words. So I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Right, Rosco? Say bye, everybody. Say bye. There he is. Oh, precious. Bye. Take care. The vet's going to be here shortly. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Oh, wait. Whoa. Thank you so much, Rena. Thank you so much. And Melissa for being a new member. I do appreciate it. And then Cherry and Max. Interesting. I'm going to look up more about fermented urine, figure out what that's about. Take care, everyone. Have a great Thursday. Bye-bye. Right?